Good morning. I'm sorry, but I'm taking a look at some of your comments, and Raymond just made me laugh, Raymond, because this is exactly where I was last night. I checked my watch and I figured, is Logan getting his free birthday lunch because it started raining or not? Well, that will be the suspense. That'll be the cliffhanger. We'll get to that in the second half of the program. Who asked for rain? Did you want rain? We got rain last night. We'll talk about that in a little while. But first, hello, everyone. Good morning. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning live get together here on Facebook, where we take a look at the rainfall and we take a look at news from Mexico, from our state, Jalisco, from our city, Puerto Vallarta. And we take a look at interesting things we can learn about our city, how we live, how we work, where we go, where to shop, where to eat wonderfully, where to save a few pesos. And we throw all of that into the mix so that we can have a better life here in Puerto Vallarta as a community of English-speaking locals. This is what we do every day of the week except for Sundays. Sundays we take a little bit of a break. So if this is a new experience for you, just get comfortable, grab your favorite beverage, sit around, and if you'd like to let us know that this is your first time watching, feel free to do so by writing the word new in your comments, and we will give you a proper welcome. And also, of course, if anybody has anything truly important to share, it helps a great deal if you add the letter Q at the beginning of your comment. Nonetheless, regardless, anyway, independently of that, we get to see all your comments during the second half of the broadcast. So, the air is clean. I can't wait to get chit chatty. But first, let's get into a few news. We have a couple of items about hotels wanting to have more people, about vaccines. Oh, this might be interesting for you to know. Some business about vaccines. We also have a couple of interesting activities that you might consider this weekend here in Puerto Vallarta if you are in town. And we might as well just dive in. We start with hotels. The local hotels here in Puerto Vallarta are hoping to increase their occupancy to 70%, according to Luis Villaseñor Nolasco. He is the director of Puerto Vallarta's Tourism Bureau. Hotels, as you know, given the pandemic constraints or considerations, are only allowed 66% right now of their total occupancy. Asking for 70% would only bring them up 3 points. But this seems to be important enough for hotels who apparently are getting enough inquiries about the rest of the summer that they anticipate that they will be to full capacity unless the restriction is loosened up ever so slightly. Of course, one thing is what the hotels wish, and another thing is what the governor of our state and his health board choose to do based on the current situation. We also know that restaurants have been hoping for an increase in occupancy in their restaurants. We will just have to wait and see in a week or two how these wishes are handled by the governor and his specialists. This bit of news caught my attention yesterday because as we travel more, um, there are more options to be considered as far as vaccination is concerned. Some people have been going to the United States to get their vaccine because it's not happening as quickly as they would like to here. And in just a few days here at Coffee and Headlines, somebody was asking if they just were going to spend a number of months here in Mexico and if they could get their second vaccine locally. Now, Mexico does not offer that many options when it comes down to getting pricked. You're sitting there with a nurse and you are not given, a choice of a vaccine. The government simply announces that these are going to happen and you get what you get. That said, Hugo Lopez Gatell, who is the health undersecretary for our country, did inform that if you are Mexican and you travel to the United States to get your first Pfizer shot, you can get the second one here. The Mexican government does not want you spending more money than you need to, having to travel back to the United States to get your second shot. So if you are Mexican, and if you travel to the States and you were given a Pfizer vaccine, you can get your second Pfizer vaccine here without any problem. Now, this, of course, applies to Mexican citizens. The news note was not specific as far as mentioning whether this would also apply to foreigners living in Mexico with a resident card. But here is where, if that is your case, if you received a first Pfizer dose in the United States and are now here and will be here for a while, I would think that the government will allow you to get your second vaccine here if you have a resident card. But if you happen to be in this particular situation, this is as good a time as any to approach Mexican health authorities and ask this question. Needless to say, we will keep our eyes on these types of guidelines as we move forward. As you know, we have had the vaccines for seniors already. Seniors have already had the opportunity more than once to receive first and second shot. Those of us that are between 50 and 59 have received our first shot. And those folks that are in their 40s are now able to pre-register. We're going to repeat this as we repeat this frequently. If you are in your 40s, this is the time in which you can be pre-registering for the vaccine, which will be delivered for this age group during this month. I also want to let you know that SEAPAL, God bless SEAPAL, they're constantly fixing something and turning the water on and off, but ultimately it is a good thing that SEAPAL is improving their water network, and now they list a number of colonias. I'm going to read them out loud, if I may, simply because there are a number of people that we know only tune in through headphones. They're not watching the show, so they cannot see this beautiful graphic. So, if you are in colonias Bobadilla, Del Toro, El Calvario, Ex Hacienda El Pitillal, Jardines de la Higuera, La Playita, La Posta, Leandro Valle, Paseo de la Ribera, Pitillal Centro, Playa Grande, Prados de la Montaña, Primavera de Vallarta, San Esteban, Villas de Guadalupe, or Villas del Rio, you can expect to have some water shortages going on today between early this morning, 9 a.m., all the way up to 4 p.m., and that is what SEAPAL is up to today. Let us take a break and take a look at the weather forecast and see if it has any more rainy surprises waiting for us. You have good taste. You just checked the weather from a finalist for the 2021 Apple Design Awards. That would mean that our trusty Carrot Weather program, which is what we use here at Coffee and Headlines, has been awarded or is a finalist to receive an Apple Design Award. This is a prestigious award that Apple bestows upon those software developers that create really awesome software. We have been very happy to work with Carrot Weather. At least I have fun with it, anyhow. But enough about that. The weather forecast. Well, actually, right now we have 27 degrees. It feels like 30, and humidity, my friends, is going to be very, very high today because of the rain from last night. Humidity right now is at 87%. Today is the day in which you stay home under a ceiling fan, or you go to an air-conditioned place and count your blessings, or if it's within your safety guidelines, you go to the movie theater and just sort of sit there because it's going to be humid. Our temperature in Fahrenheit is 80 degrees, and we begin our weekend with rain in the morning, and we had a few droplets, you can say that, early this morning, and the forecast for today is a high of 32, low temperature of 23. Tomorrow will be a humid and partly cloudy day with a high temperature of 32 and a low temperature of 23. And Sunday, we can expect yet another humid and partly cloudy day, high temperature of 32, low temperature of 23. Will it rain again like last night? Well, we don't know. And what about that rain? Now I want to start getting into your comments only because, no, well, wait, I still have a couple of things that I want to talk to you about, a few choice headlines that I put together looking at what to do this weekend. This is shamelessly biased because Cassandra Shaw is a very dear friend of mine, and she is a very, very talented artist. Aside from the fact that she designs jewelry, she also paints, and she is the featured artist of the week today at Culture. Culture, as you know, is a beautiful space in Emiliano Zapata where they have a number of artist studios, so you can go there and enjoy a nice meal or a cocktail, and you get to browse the work that is produced by a number of artists. Cassandra has a studio there, and her work will be featured today. So if you're looking for a nice place to go and enjoy a cocktail and look at some beautiful locally made art, this is a good place to go. They have happy hour from 4 to 7 all day. So there you go. That is one thing you may want to consider doing today. I have another shameless plug. Now, a wonderful artist does not necessarily make a wonderful teacher, but if you've ever seen the paper mache creations that Ernesto Guerra has produced, he is an artist in residence at Art Vallarta, and his work is just stunning. He works with paper in such a beautiful way. And Art Vallarta has been announcing paper mache classes with him. This is an ongoing thing. I don't know many details, but if you would like to learn more about paper mache, this is a great, unique opportunity because Ernesto is a hugely talented guy, and he creates small pieces, and he creates these ginormous pieces that we tend to associate with places like San Sebastián not San Sebastián, San Miguel de Allende. So, and if you've never been to Art Vallarta, this is a beautiful space, another place where there is a beautiful connection that can be made between local creators and art buyers, or people that are just learning how to paint, how to do ceramics, how to do pottery, so forth and so on. So this is something else that you may want to consider. I will leave all the information for you in the show notes. And last but not least, before we get into chit-chat mode, we mentioned a few days ago that Comedor Versalles, which is this wonderful restaurant here in Colonia Versalles, well, first of all, they announced this bazaar, this flea market, where they encouraged women to sell their stuff. It was first billed as a women's market. I don't know if that idea flew very well or not, but what we do know is that tomorrow, starting at 4 p.m., there will, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., I stand corrected, there will be a bazaar, an opportunity to buy, sell, hang out, etc., etc. So if you're looking for a great restaurant to check out, and then, of course, have the opportunity to do some shopping, I shamelessly recommend Comedor Versalles. I've had 3 or 4 wonderful meals there. And I love going back. Their thin crusted pizza is among the nicest pizza I have tried here in town. So these are activities that you may want to consider if you happen to be in Puerto Vallarta this weekend. And now let's talk about the rain. Let me rewind my comments just to see who's in the house. Um, I'm looking for comments about the rain. I want to know how it was for you. I'm sure that you have written a few, and I'm going to go through them, but not before I say hello to my dear, dear friend Claude. He and his husband Lucas have been gone, and I miss them terribly. Claude, I see you in the comments, and I feel like you're in town, but you're not. You're in Canada, and I'm happy that Claude and Lucas have gotten their vaccine. I'm sorry to spread the news that you kindly shared with me, but every time I hear of friends of mine that get the vaccine, I just get very, very, very happy. And going back to Raymond, who made me laugh even before the broadcast started, if we run into Logan this morning, we'll find out whether he feels he deserves a free birthday dinner or lunch this weekend. I do know that Logan has already started putting together a birthday scheduled, and I was briefed about this earlier today. Let's see what else we have. Stephanie's feeling refreshed and loving the morning air. Yes, absolutely. I mean, earlier today it was gorgeous. Right now, of course, the sun is shining and it's going to start bringing up the heat from the land, from the soil. But it was great. I was lying in bed, half asleep, half not, and I'm usually hearing the buzzing of my ceiling fan. And at some point, I said to myself, "Well, wait a second. That does not sound like my ceiling fan." And lo and behold, I looked out the window, and it must have been around 9, no, 11:30. I looked out the window, and it was pouring. And I stayed awake for a while. I think I heard the rain again at about 1:30 in the morning. So it was absolutely wonderful. Betsy loved the monsoon last night. Betsy, I don't know how long you've been here before. I'm glad that you call it a monsoon, but that was just child's play. Let me remind our cluster folks, once it starts raining, it starts raining. And if it's hurricane season, we don't take these things lightly. Please, if this is, for all I know, Betsy, you've been here for many, many seasons and you know the drill. But if you are new to Puerto Vallarta, and I know that a few of you have just moved here, be mindful of these things. When it rains, it rains. And you want to make sure that you are prepared for any kind of eventuality, whether it is a loss of power or whether it is a power surge. We've talked about this before. Make sure that you have a voltage regulator in your appliances unless you want to see your microwave or your television set melt before your eyes. It can happen. So just be mindful of that. Just be mindful of that. Let's see what else we have. Lots of good mornings from beautiful people. Thank you very much. Dave says Logan should get his free birthday lunch anyway. We wonder if Logan is awake this morning, or maybe he is just really busy with his guests. Angelo is reporting from Wet Amapas. I think that's absolutely wonderful. And yes, Jeannie, it was beautiful and fresh early in the morning, and we love days like that. Of course, no, it's oh my God, I have to brag about something wonderful that happened yesterday. And I say this, and I'm so very happy that Claudia and Carmen are here. I must be the most fortunate man in this city, without a doubt, because yesterday Carmen sends a message to me and she's like, "Well, we made a little bit of extra ceviche. Would you like some?" And I said, "Sure." And she came over with a little Tupperware with homemade ceviche Acapulco style. And I gave her a little gift because I feel, if somebody gifts you something, you have to gift something back. And I sat down, I had some chips, and I ate this ceviche that Carmen and Claudia prepared. And it was the most spectacular thing. It was delicious. I mean, girls, if you're thinking of selling ceviche, I am going to be the first person to sign up. But beyond that, I thought to myself, how fortunate we are, and I mean all of us, how fortunate we are to tend to our friendships and our relationships in a loving way, such that I found myself so blessed yesterday because I have beautiful friends to look after and beautiful friends that look after me. And all I want to say is, Claudia and Carmen, muchas gracias. The ceviche was yummy. But even beyond that, thank you for thinking of me. It really feels good to be thought about. I very much appreciated that. And getting to the ceviche business, that was absolutely yummy. May you be fortunate enough to ever try their ceviche. Of course, we remember the ceviche Colima from when they had El Arrayan. It was like one of the most gorgeous ceviches you could get in town. And and I know from good sources that they're up to new and exciting things that we can all look forward to in the future. Aha! Stephanie says Logan was 1.5 hours late in his prediction for rain in Tabachines. So Logan is not getting a free lunch or dinner just yet, and he's not here to defend himself. But this is too much fun. Um, Clay says a prick is a prick. Just get pricked no matter where you are. Absolutely. I agree with you. Of course, that said, we need to be mindful of the fact that everybody in the world is recommending that if your first prick is of X brand, your second prick should be of the same brand. Mixing brands has been touted as not being a good idea. But you're right. I take your comment, Clay, to have more to do with some people that frown certain brands over others. A prick is a prick. I'm just fortunate that the scientific community is taking care of us. We should all be so grateful. Let's see. Beam, 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 beam. Let's see. Oh, good. Dan and Cathy already bought their plane ticket to come back to Puerto Vallarta. See, I love it. My friends are coming back. This is awesome. Let's see what else we have. My dear friend from college, Earl, is here talking about beautiful friendships. I mean, I just love it when friends from many, many, many years ago are still in my life. Many hugs to you guys. Let's see what else. Is the ice skating place still open? If not, it would be a good, cool place. I tend to agree with you, Lynn. I actually don't know if they're still open. I sure hope they are. It's just a matter of checking their Facebook page just to see what is going on there. I think. Oh no. And Karen reports, I read it was closed, possibly moving to another location. I hope that is not the case because, the only ice skating rink in Puerto Vallarta would have been a fun place to go and slip on or carefully slip on the ice. Ramona says paper mache looks great. Let's see what else. Oh, Paco, some months ago you gave a recipe for ate con queso. Could you repeat it? And also, do you recommend a specific type of cheese for it? Yes. Let me talk about this. There are a handful of heavenly food things that you can enjoy throughout the world with the minimal number of ingredients. And in Mexico, one such delicacy is to take slices of ate, which is either guava paste or quince paste. You can buy that at traditional Mexican candy shops and slice this, have a slice of it, and then add a slice of cheese to it and eat the two together like a little itty bitty sandwich. And Matthew is asking what kind of cheese. You can try Chihuahua, you can try Manchego, you can try some of that sharp Vermont cheddar that is back at Costco, or at least it was back 2 days ago. I'm sure if I go today, it'll be gone because that's the way it goes with sharp Vermont cheddar here in town. But any combination of the sweetness of the guava paste and the saltiness of cheese is a heavenly snack. Definitely try it. Give it a go and let me know what kind of cheese you ended up using because it's one of my favorite little go-to desserts. Let's see. I saw a few posts this morning about the rain. I didn't get to see a lot. I saw a couple of photographs posted. And I feel strongly for friends of mine like Catherine, who is going through some house renovations, and the rain took her by surprise. And she's not the only friend that I know that went through that, but hopefully not major damage was caused. The rain came as a monsoon in the hotel zone. Well, we were pretty close to the hotel zone here in La Vena, so I hear you. It was absolutely beautiful. Let's see. Oh, and I miss yours. Oh. Um, Question: How is ceviche Acapulco different? Oh my God, what a great question. I don't have a specific answer because I'm not a ceviche expert. All I can tell you is that there are different